guys, it's Sophie. So I thought I'd show you the books I got for Christmas / in December and do a kind of little chat and review of what I've got left on my TBR, because I mentioned in my last video about what I've been reading that got rid of a lot of books and I only kept a few, so I thought I'll show you what those are and tell you sort of what they're about. I am actually also looking for the second pile of books, so the ones I didn't just get for Christmas but the ones I've kept, for you guys to trash my TBR with them. If there's any that aren't worth my time or that you haven't really enjoyed, do let me know, because I'm not kind of tied to any of them. I could get rid of all of them. Ooh, cat's unhappy. But I'm keeping them for now, so if you didn't like them, do let me know. So the first one I got was a gift from Rain City Reads. Emily has a book blog at raincityreads.com, I think. I'm sure if you Google Rain City Reads you'll find it, and she's just like the sweetest person. And she got me this one, which is I'm Afraid of Men by Vivek, Shraya, and on the back it says Men Are Afraid of Me. And this is a really little book about a transgender woman who's talking about her experience with femininity and a lot around the fear of men, but the fear kind of surrounding men and interacting with men, and what that feels like as a man who doesn't fit in necessarily into their gender, and what that feels like as a trans woman. It's really little and it is really good, so if you're interested in reading more about the kind of trans experience or more by trans people, then I'd recommend it. The next book is one that I bought myself, and this was kind of like a post-Christmas present to me, and this one is Sad Topographies by Damien, and I absolutely love this book. I hadn't heard of it before, but yeah, I don't know if it's really popular already, but it is essentially stories about places in the map which have strange names and why they're called that. So like Doomtown, Nevada, USA, or the one I just showed you was Nothing, Arizona, US, Lonely Island and the Kara Sea, Russia. And it's just like a brilliant like coffee table book. It's full of little stories and facts, and when I was reading it I'd read little bits out to Tom, and it was just really lovely. It's beautifully produced, it's just gorgeous, like the whole of it's just gorgeous, and yeah, I loved it. Well worth well worth the money. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep this one on, like maybe standing out on my non-fiction shelves downstairs. And then I got a little book as a present from Tom's mum, which is called Magnificat, and this one is like a series of tiny little comics about cats. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but I think I'm going to sit down and read it like with a cup of tea. We used to have lots of little books like this in my grandparents' house when I was growing up, like little funny picture drawing books, and I was reading them when I was little, so yeah, hope you enjoy this one too. And then my mum gave me Educated by Tara Westover, and I've started this one. I'm probably in my 112 pages in. Obviously there's so much buzz around this one at the moment, you've probably already heard of it, but I hadn't gotten around to it, and I thought it would be a nice one for a Christmas present, because I was kind of on the fence, because I think I get really nervous when books are too buzzy, but I am enjoying it so far. It's quite quiet, which is quite nice. I didn't know if it would be kind of like really over dramatised, but it isn't, because she's very much showing you the world as like her normal, rather than like, oh my goodness, this happened and this happened, and then is reflecting back on it with that view of like what was everyone doing then. So yeah, I'm reading this one today, and hopefully I'll finish this one before I go back to work. And the next one I had was a present as well, and that was And Now We Have Everything. The subtitle is On Motherhood Before I Was Ready by Meaghan O'Connell, and this is a memoir about a woman who got pregnant in her early 20s and decided to keep the baby, even though it was kind of like not the ideal scenario to have gotten pregnant in, and it's about her experience with motherhood. I don't know whether it's just me coming into my mid-20s or what, but I'm loving reading like about motherhood and people's experience of that and memoirs around that, and this seemed like a slightly different like avenue into it to other things I've read, so looking forward to it. And then I got Homesick for Another World by Ottessa and Moshfegh, and I really don't know what this one's about at all. I know that it's really like a dark, dirty novel, but I love Ottessa and Moshfegh, and Acacia got this one for me, and she knows I love her, and it's the only one I haven't read, so I'm really looking forward to reading this one as well. I really quite like the cover as well. It's kind of quite like dark. It kind of reminds me of those like Moscow like crime thriller kind of feel here. Yeah, so we'll see what I think of this one. I have really enjoyed both of our other two. And the next one I have is a present from Tom's family, and that is An Interrupted Life, The Diaries and Letters of Etty, Hillesum. This is a Persephone book, so it's got that lovely inside pages. I don't know anything about this woman, And I haven't read diaries or letters like in quite a long time, but Catherine said that she'd read, I think it was a book about this lady and found it really interesting, so I thought I might like this one. And it's the first Persephone book I've got, so that's quite exciting. So yeah, we'll see how I go when I get into it. I literally don't know anything of what to expect. It's published in the 1940s, so probably war stuff. But yeah, I'll get to this one, but I don't know quite when. I think I might use it as like a bedtime one, like little bits and pieces, because I think letters and essays work quite well in little jots rather than trying to read them all at once. And the next one I bought for myself, and that one is the book of Strange New Things by Michel Faber. I wanted to have like a big book to have for Christmas, and I've started this one but then I got distracted, so I got 84 pages through and actually was really liking it. But then kind of Christmas arrived and there were other things, and I picked up little bits of non-fiction because I didn't have any non-fiction left and I got a bit overexcited. And I just haven't got back to this one yet, but I definitely will. It's about a man who leaves Earth to go and minister on a faraway planet where they've reached alien life, and his wife stays at home. I've only just got to the place where he gets to this planet, so I don't know how the story unfolds. I know Jen really likes this book, and I really liked Under the Skin when I read that when I was like 14 or 15 when I was at school, but I haven't read anything else since, so yeah, back on that one at some stage soon. And then the next one I got from my grandparents, and that is There by Tommy Orange. And this is one that I'm sure you guys have heard spoken about. It's kind of been like a little bit of a like underrated, underhyped book that's like made its way back up through the list. I believe this is one by a Native American author, and I think it's like a family-esque saga, but I've just heard such good things about it from everyone who's read it, and it's kind of like been on the radar for a long while, but kind of just like gaining hype, but like the kind of people whose hype I really trust. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. I did actually get bought 2 copies of this one because 2 people knew I was very excited for it and had 2, so I passed one of them on, but I have my lovely copy and it is very beautiful. Yeah. And then the last one I have, my brother actually got for Christmas from his girlfriend, I think, and I saw it and I was like, I'm intrigued. And that one is How to Change Your Mind by Michael Pollen. And this is a book about psychedelic drugs and what they can do, and a little bit about their history. So I think it's focusing most on LSD and how there was lots of medical research about LSD and how it could like help alcoholics or those with mental illness. And then there was like the big movement to like stamp out drug use and kind of calm everyone down. And LSD was like obviously like the funding stopped for them investigating into its properties, and it's only been really recently that science has been able to like start experimenting with what the therapeutic uses of LSD might be. I don't know if it focuses on other like psychedelics as well, but this guy, I think this guy is like quite famous, Michael Pollan, for like trying the drugs and seeing what happens, and I'm someone who's like not ever done drugs, so it's quite interesting for me to like see what the effects are. Yeah, so those are all the books that I have bought or been given over Christmas. I hope that's all of them because I've read a few like over the Christmas period and have stashed them away, but tried to like go through in my head where they was. If I've missed anyone, I'm sorry. I think that's everything I got. And then I just wanted to show you what I kept hold of from my pile of things, and just tell you about them and give you guys the opportunity to trash them if you should wish to. So the first one I've got, I'm pretty sure I am going to keep hold of and read, and that is The Curse on Dostoevsky by Atiq, and this is an Afghani novel which is based on, I think it's Crime and Punishment, yeah, Crime and Punishment, and it's basically that he reads Crime and Punishment, has committed a crime and feels like he needs to tell someone, and all of the government is just like, we have other things to worry about. So yeah, I hope this one's going to be really good. I've held on to this one for a while and I should really try and read it soon. I think I'm going to like it. And the next one I have is another one I've had for a while and I've held on to, and that is A Spare Life by Lidija, and this one comes quite highly rated on Goodreads, so I'm hoping that that's a good sign, and it follows 2 conjoined twins from communist Yugoslavia, and they're connected by the head, and it's kind of a metaphor for like communism and the state they're living in as well. So fingers crossed this is good. As I say, trash anything you want to, but I think this one should be interesting. It's quite long, which is the only reason I'm kind of tentative toward it. The next one I have I was really enjoying when I was reading it, and I kind of wish I bought a new copy rather than an old copy. And that one is The Line of Beauty by Alan Hollinghurst, and I picked this one up from a used bookstore a little while ago when I was out with Tom looking at places where we might end up moving to next. And I read 118 pages of it, and it's like 500 pages long, and I was doing quite well with it and really liking it, but I was just a bit like pulled down by how long it was, I think, though I really do want to keep reading it. I don't know whether I stop, give this one away, buy a new copy, or whether I read this copy and if I like it buy a new copy. Yeah, it's not that bad, it's just, I don't know if you can see on the spine, I'm really fussy, like it's got all the lines where someone's like broken it really badly along it, but we'll see. I'm just enjoying it so far. The next one I've kept hold of because of how much I enjoyed the writer's second book, and that is the Book of Chameleons by Jose Eduardo Agalusa, and I read one of his stories, which I think was about an old woman trapped inside a room, and I loved it. And this one is about a magical talking lizard who I think gives you like what you dream of. No, he gives pasts to people, that's what it is. He gives people different pasts to the past they've had. Again, I think I may well keep hold of this one. I just need to like actually start it because I really did love his other books. I'm hoping I like this one too. Man Tiger is another one that I've started by Eka Kurniawan. I am 46 pages in, it's only like 160 pages long, and yeah, I was kind of broadly enjoying it. It was quite similar to another one I'd read about a magical lioness. This one's about a man who has a white tiger who's like married to him and lives inside him and comes out to attack the things that he doesn't like. It was shortlisted for the Man Booker International in 2016, so it is like decently written and all of those things. I think I was just in a bit of a book slump and it was so similar to what I've been reading, I just didn't fancy it, but I have kept hold of it, so we'll see. And then next I have a short story collection by Mary Gaitskill called Because They Wanted To. I read Veronica by Mary Gaitskill and I really enjoyed it, and lots of people said her short stories were even better. The first few of these are from like a male perspective and I haven't enjoyed them as much, so I have again started this one, but I've heard that the ones toward the end do get better, so I think I might keep going with this one, but I'm kind of meh on it, so if you didn't like that one, do let me know. And the next one I have is called The Atom Station by Halldor Laxness, and this is about I think it's about a poor woman who goes to live in a politician's house, and his writing, because I've read one of his other books, is kind of like abstract and weird and unreal in a way, and yeah, it's only a really short book, so again I thought I'd keep hold of this one for the time being. And then the next two I've got because I've heard so much like good things about the book or the author. So the first one is They Who Do Not Grieve by Sia Figel, which is stories about Samoan women, and I think it was like the first line or something that made me keep hold of this. And yeah, so that once upon a time there was a couple, Sadness and Beauty, and they lived and lived and a child was born to them and they called it Grief, for it had no gender, and they did not live happily ever after. I thought that looked intriguing, so I've kept hold of this one for now. And then the last book on my TBR is Season of Migration to the North by Tayeb Salih, and this is one that I'd kept for ages because I'd heard it was really good. It's like, it always gets like listed as the best book because it's been translated from Arabic, and I wanted to keep hold of it for that, and it's kind of like a classic as well, like a modern classic, so it was kind of, I might not necessarily read it now, but I hopefully will read it in the future. I just found two more. So the other one I have is Sworn Virgin by Elvira Donez, and I kept hold of this one because it's published by And Other Stories and I've had good experiences with this one. This is about a man who pretends to be a woman. Which way around is it? Not sure, could be either, but basically they are trying to like have a second identity to live outside of their like gender expectations. It seems interesting but a bit weird. I've had it for ages now because I bought it for Around the World in like July 17 I think, and I still haven't read it, so maybe that isn't a good sign, but it is by a publishing house I really like, so let me know what you think. And then the last one that I have, the actual last one that I have, is a proof copy of The Golden Child by Claire Adam, which is just gorgeous, and I kept this one because I'd just been sent it for review, and I think it's about a family living in Trinidad. I haven't seen anyone talk about this yet, but I've been a little bit distanced recently, so it may have gone around. I don't know what date it comes out, comes out soon, 17th of January. So I've kept hold of this one for now because I've literally just got it and it does sound quite cool. So I'll see what I think. I'm not sure I've read anything from Trinidad last year or potentially ever, so that'll be new to learn a little bit about. So that's everything I have currently on my TBR, so it is fairly small. I really want to keep it small going forward, and I'm very happy for you guys to trash any of that like second pile of books that I've had for a little bit longer and tell me if you don't think they're worth my time. Yeah, let me know what you think of the books I've hauled as well, but don't trash them because I've just got them and I'm excited for them, and I'll see you guys soon in another video. Bye bye.